In the opening scene of the movie, we are presented with a view of a harmonious family enjoying time together in their front yard while preparing breakfast. However, this moment of happiness is interrupted when the father suddenly feels chest pain. The mother quickly asks him to rest for a while. Nevertheless, Jason, their first child, still insists on playing catch with his father. Unexpectedly, the father falls and loses consciousness. The mother promptly instructs her daughter, Kylie, to call an ambulance. A year later, the family decides to move to a housing complex called Purity Falls, a serene complex with much more affordable prices compared to their previous home. This decision is made by the mother because the family's savings are dwindling, forcing her to return to work. Nicole, the mother, gets a job as a teacher at Purity Falls School, while Jason and Kylie also have to transfer to the school where their mother works. Jason still cannot accept the reality of losing his father and feels upset about their move. In his frustration, Jason accidentally throws a ball and hits someone behind the bushes. That person is named Chad, a Purity Falls School alum who is about to continue his studies out of town. In the middle of their conversation, Chad is called by a woman who asks for his help. After finishing his chat with Jason, Chad immediately approaches the woman. The scene then shifts to the moment when Jason's family is moving their furniture to the new house. A neighbor named Courtney comes to visit, bringing food. Courtney is a successful woman in the cosmetic sales field. Courtney was previously married, but her husband passed away before they could have children. Besides her main career, Courtney also has a side business in plants. Courtney offers Jason a part-time job with a high salary and benefits. The mother advises Jason to accept the offer so he can save up to buy a car. At night, Chad is seen talking on the phone with his girlfriend, promising happiness and planning to buy an apartment for her. Suddenly, the sound of an opening door is heard. Chad quickly checks the situation, even reaching the pool. Unexpectedly, a mysterious figure appears and fatally strikes Chad. The next day, the three of them started their first day at their new school. On the first day, Jason met a new friend who shared the same interest in wrestling. His new friend's name was Daniel. Initially, Jason was hesitant to accept Daniel's invitation to join the school wrestling team. However, his hesitation disappeared when he saw a beautiful woman named Clara. Daniel informed Jason that Clara often attended wrestling matches. Eventually, Jason, still single, decided to join and immediately started training. On the first day of training, unexpectedly, Jason managed to defeat a student known as the strongest and undefeated in the school. Jason's enthusiasm to win was fully fueled by his desire to impress Clara, who happened to be watching the match. From then on, Jason and Clara finally got to know each other. Not wanting to miss the opportunity, Jason quickly asked Clara out on a date. Initially, Clara hesitated to accept the offer. However, when Jason mentioned that he would treat her, Clara finally agreed. However, at that moment, Jason realized how empty his wallet was, having no money at all. From this incident, later in the afternoon, Jason finally accepted Courtney's offer to work as a gardener. Jason was warmly welcomed by Courtney. Before starting work, they chatted about Jason's experience in gardening. Jason mentioned that he had experience in arranging plants from his late father's garden. As they enjoyed their drinks, their conversation continued in a more friendly atmosphere. During that time, Courtney deliberately spilled her drink on her shirt, creating an awkward atmosphere that led to a deeper bond between them. After the incident, Jason received an advance payment from Courtney. Courtney also informed Jason that the following Saturday, he could start working at their neighbor's house to take care of their garden. The next day, Jason went straight to the neighbor's house as previously informed by Courtney. Armed with gardening tools, Jason began his work. However, an elderly woman approached him and caught his attention. Jason was surprised and quickly left the house. Jason then approached Courtney at her house. Upon arriving there, the true job that Courtney meant was revealed. Apparently, the gardening task was just a cover. Jason's actual task was to accompany Courtney, who felt lonely. Courtney needed the presence of a young and strong man like Jason to fill the void in her life. Well, turns out, from the start, the communication Jason had with Courtney and also with Daniel was all part of a more complex scheme. At school, Jason met Daniel, who seemed like he had just been through something rough. When asked, Daniel was reluctant to explain. Jason then mentioned meeting Courtney. Daniel finally admitted that he also worked for Courtney and really enjoyed the job because it was fun and paid quite well. Jason could only stay silent listening to Daniel's explanation. Meanwhile, at school, Jason's mom was talking to a student named Amber. Amber was Chad's girlfriend who had recently passed away. Amber revealed that Chad's death wasn't a work accident like many rumors at school, but there were indications that someone intentionally did it. Amber also disclosed that Chad often entertained at Purity Falls complex and his death might have been planned by someone who didn't want Chad to leave for college out of town. Back at home, Courtney met Jason and his mom. Courtney gave Jason an old car belonging to her late husband that had been unused for a long time. Facing financial issues since his father's passing, Jason decided to work again with Courtney. Additionally, Daniel's positive experience with the job also influenced Jason's decision. Without delay, Courtney gave Jason the next customer's address, which was Harris. That evening, Jason visited the new customer's house. This time, fortunately, Jason didn't encounter an overly elderly woman like before. From then on, Jason worked with full enthusiasm. In a relatively short time, Jason was able to give his mom a gold necklace worth hundreds of dollars. Although he now had plenty of money, his romantic relationship with Clara ended. Clara found out that Jason worked with Courtney, similar to what Daniel did. It's unknown who leaked that information. Luckily, Jason wasn't too bothered by Clara's rejection and continued living his life as usual. Shortly after, Jason received a WhatsApp message from Courtney asking him to visit Karen's house, a client he had left at the beginning of his job. While working, Karen's husband suddenly returned home. Thankfully, Jason managed to escape and hide in the closet. However, in his escape, Jason accidentally dropped his belt. From this incident, Jason felt angry at Courtney for not getting paid for his work. Courtney explained that this happened because Jason didn't complete his job properly. Frustrated, Jason decided to end his job with Courtney. Jason then told Daniel, his friend, that he had quit his job. However, Daniel warned Jason to be careful because quitting his job was not the right choice. Sure enough, shortly after, Jason was approached by someone named Benjamin who threatened to cause trouble with Jason and his brother if Jason did not continue his work with Courtney. Reluctantly, Jason went back to work. A few days later, a party was held at Courtney's house where Jason's mom was also invited. At the party, the mayor and many other customers of Courtney were present. Shortly after, Jason's mom accidentally witnessed an argument between Courtney and Karen. Karen demanded Courtney to refund the payment multiple times because her husband found Jason's belt, leading him to file for divorce, putting Karen at risk of becoming poor. Later on, Jason's mom accidentally walked into the wrong room while heading to the bathroom. She caught Daniel with Maya in there. That night, Benjamin went to Karen's house and gave her the money as requested. However, Benjamin tried to persuade Karen to do something inappropriate. Fortunately, Karen fought back before collapsing, and Benjamin fled to Courtney's house. Upon arrival, Benjamin asked Courtney to treat his wound and take him to the hospital, but Courtney refused to do so. Eventually, Benjamin died suddenly, and Courtney panicked right then and there. Meanwhile, Jason, just back from his client's house, was scolded by his mom who was starting to suspect his late-night activities. She advised him to stay away from Daniel as he wasn't a good influence, especially after what happened at the party. Feeling uncomfortable and pressured, Jason decided to report Courtney to the police. Jason concluded that anyone trying to leave their job would end up like Chad, even though Chad left to further his education. Jason had an idea to report Courtney to the police by showing evidence from the binder in Courtney's drawer. The binder would also prove that Courtney was behind what happened to Chad. Coincidentally, tonight Daniel would meet a special guest at Courtney's house. Jason came up with a plan and asked Daniel to pretend to be sick so that Jason could take his place and get the binder from Courtney's drawer. So, there's Jason's mom investigating Chad's school yearbook. She sensed something fishy there. Later that night, Jason came to replace Daniel. Turns out, the special guest was the mayor. Things got even more complicated. While Courtney and the mayor were chatting, Jason went to look for that binder. But he couldn't find it in Courtney's drawer. After searching around, luckily Jason found the binder under the bed. Shortly after, the mayor entered and snatched the binder. It seemed like the mayor also knew that Courtney kept her employee profiles there. With a little kung fu move, Jason managed to snatch back the binder. Meanwhile, Jason's mom was keeping an eye on things at Courtney's house from her place. The TV news reported about the disappearance of Benjamin and Karen in Purity Falls. Meanwhile, Courtney caught Jason with the binder. With her strong motherly instinct, Jason's mom realized Jason was at Courtney's house and in danger. She cautiously entered Courtney's house and eventually found Jason in the garage. Shortly after, Courtney arrived and intended to move Jason. The mom, hiding, accidentally dropped something, leading to a showdown between Courtney and Jason's mom. Thankfully, after receiving a screwdriver from Jason, the mom managed to win the struggle. In the end, they all returned to their old home. There, they celebrated Jason's graduation with his class.